Welcome to AUDIOMACK. Experience wisdom, the power, the presence of Jesus Christ. Before we define money, let's look at the evolution of money. I want to give you these truths about money. First of all, realize that money is not any of the following. Money is not currency. Money is not credit cards. Money is not ATM or debit cards. Money is not checkbooks. Just establish that one in your heart first. All these things I listed is not money. Apostle, then what is money? Let's try to examine it from history. Let's look at the evolution of money. How money evolved from the primitive state to where it currently is now. The first level in the evolution of money was the era of hunters and the cavemen. The cavemen era. You remember that time when all they did was to hunt animals to eat? All right, that was the earliest age. I guess that was before the Stone Age, those of you who did a little history. Now in that time they didn't have currency notes. If you had given somebody of that time $2 or $10 or $100 note, it was useless to him. Is that true? Because it was not a system that was operational at that time. What was operational at that time was that men used energy and skills to hunted animals to eat. Human existence that time was just on survival mode. So it was just to hunt animal that they will eat that day and then hunt for the next day. So that time, the money of that time was the energy and the skill that they deployed in hunting. Because if a man is sick and he cannot hunt for his family, another person can hunt for him. That person has hard work energy deployed and the skill to set traps and hunt, so that when this one that was sick is finally up, he too will go and put those things to work and then hunt for the other person to be able to pay up his debt. The next era was the farming and agrarian era. Men now went beyond hunting animals. They discovered that the earth, the soil, was rich in nutrients. It could yield produce. So people began to plant and then get produce, agricultural produce from the earth. At that time, the money was either if you had ownership of lands or you had a large family that can farm for you. You know, the larger the hands on the farm, the larger the harvest. Is that true? That was what informed polygamy. So polygamy that time was not because of love or because of responsibility. If I marry 2 wives, I have many sons that can go to farm for me. And it's sad that some people are still living in that age today, in the name of religion. Another system of money during that period was slave trade. Okay, I have slaves, I can sell them to you. Then in exchange, they now introduce what they call trade by barter. Because you know, money for them that time was using what you have to get what you want. So if I have slaves, people that are ready to work in your plantation, whether by force or by will, when I give them to you, you have the land, use them to cultivate the land. When you get your harvest, you give me my own share. So it was the agrarian age that gave birth to trade by barter. And that was the system of money at that time. Well, it had its limitations. One of the limitations was logistics. Sometimes it is difficult to see somebody that has what you want. Some other times it is difficult for you to give what someone else wants. That was a problem of logistics in that age. Another problem was mobility. Okay, now you have the farm product. Transporting it was a problem. Another problem was storage. They didn't have equipment to store it, so the farm produce could last for a short time. Which leads us to the third stage of evolution of money. We now enter the industrial age. The industrial age was when mineral resources were discovered in the earth. That was when mining and all of these things came into being, where they mine mineral resources from under the earth so that produce can become products. You know, in the agrarian age, it was produce. You plant and harvest, produce. But in the industrial age, they saw that with machines, with equipment, you can convert produce to products. So tomatoes can be converted to tomato paste and sold back to the person who harvested the tomatoes at a higher rate. Is that not what's happening with our crude oil in Nigeria? Under that age, the system of money was either the school system, which now you send people to be trained to understand how to use these machines and then go into industrialization. So a nation can send their citizens to go to another nation to school, and when they send them back, they will come and work as a way of paying for their schooling. Another system of money was job and salary system, which is what I call modern day slavery. So now industrialization has manufactured and produced jobs. So somebody can wear tie and white shirt and is working in a place and they are paying him money, and they promise to pay him for as long as he works there, and at the end of his service they will give him pension every month. That is not different from the slave trade that happened in the agrarian age. It's just that in the agrarian age they use handcuffs to catch the slave. In the industrial age they use golden cuffs and tie. When you wear that tie, does it not choke your neck? That's modern day slavery. Somebody would understand, it knows what I'm talking about. So somebody will tie his potentials. He's working in a place, earning money. They are paying him for deploying energy and skill. But you find out what he's doing for that organization is more than the money that is coming. So he works there till 60 years. Even when he's sick, he must go to work. His only church he will not come to. But if he's sick, he'll go there because you know they will remove from his salary. We evolved from that era to the technology and information age. This is the age of e-commerce and the use of cards and e-money. Now, at the third era, the third stage of evolution, which was the industrial era, it was then, after the First World War, particularly after the First World War, that nations, world leaders came together and decided to use paper currency. Before that time, they used gold and silver and precious metals for the exchange of value. But later on, world leaders came together and decided, okay, let's have paper. Let's use paper as a promissory means. You know what a promise is? If I tell you I'm going to do something for you, there is something, a commitment that I need to make to you as a sign that this thing that I promised you, I will do it. For instance, if I want to buy shoes from Bishop, if he sells shoes and I don't have the full money to buy the shoes, I will drop what they call a deposit, a down payment, isn't it? That's paper, that's currency. As a promise to him that I'm coming back to make the full payment for the exchange of the value of that shoe. So currency was introduced as a promissory note, not as the main format for the exchange of value. It was gold and those precious metals. So they say, okay, let's have currency to represent it. At the end of the day, the strength of the currency will still fall back to the value that that gold or that precious metal or that natural resource has. Is that true? That is the reason why we still have the problem of exchange rate in our economies. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Then we move to technology age. It evolved from currency to e-transactions. Now you can transfer online. Bitcoin. One imaginary coin is there that people are killing themselves to buy. Is that true? Can I tell you something? There will still be another evolution. Very soon it will evolve to a point where microchips are used in the hands and the brains of people. In fact, it has already begun. A few months ago, Elon Musk's company, they did the first test experiment. Go and do the research. They did the first experiment of using a computer chip in the brain of a man. That means that very soon you will not need to transact with your phone. With your head, you can stay and perform transaction. You can place your hand on something and you have paid. I hope you will say Antichrist will come by that time. This is evolution. So you now see that what will you really call money? Since there has been an evolution from one stage to the other. And now we are already getting to that place, and some people are stealing money from their government and stacking it as cash in their house. A president was recently, I don't know, but a president of an African country, when they arrested him in a coup, they saw millions, over $130 million cash in his house. You know, that kind of stealing is informed by poverty too, actually. Because if he thinks that that paper note is money, will that money be relevant 10, 20 years from now when computer chips are now used in the hands of people? Now, even the pep man knows transfer. You can transfer to him. Yes or no? So what truly is money? The reason is because if you don't know what money is, you will be poor. You will work yourself out for paper notes, not understanding what the true money is really is. And my advice for every parent is in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6 to 7. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he shall not depart from it. The training is in the next verse. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Teach your children financial intelligence. Parents, that your money devotion that every day you are doing is only about God and righteousness. Can you add an evening devotion to it, and this time it is financial intelligence you are teaching them? In fact, I believe it is safe. The only thing that is that you put your limitations and boundaries, but it is safe from small for your child to understand financial intelligence and ICT, because that's where the whole world is now. Somebody said the whole world is now a global village, and the internet is the village square. Buy phone for them. Let them be playing with it. If they can't use it, let them play game there. Let them grow with that understanding, so that the child will not grow up. Because the reason why some people will sit down and pray for miracle jobs, when God has invested in them something that they can exchange for value, something that they can give for what they need, is because he doesn't have understanding of financial intelligence. He feels that money is paper. That's why he's waiting for a job. Do you know that you can buy a house without money? There are many means of. I attended a conference in 2015, a national summit they held in International Conference Center, and they brought an expert. You know, all of them were experts there, financial experts globally. And one of them said something that blew my head. She came to talk on entrepreneurship. She said that money is not the only capital you need to start a business. That in the business world there are 12 kinds of capitals. Money is one of it. I went to the bathroom. You don't believe me? Let me give you an example. Just listen to this imaginary story. Bishop, can you come? Please, sir. Brother Danjuma, please come. Esther, please come. Quickly. My time is almost up. If you don't believe what I'm saying, that currency, paper note is not money, then look at this story. This is my son, for instance, in this story. I'm a father. This is my son. This is Bill Gates. This is a young lady who is not married. Look at this story. Son, I want you to get married to a lady of my choice. And then he says, no, I will marry a lady of my own choice. Then I tell him, but the lady I want you to marry is the daughter of Bill Gates. What do you think he will say? Yes, sir. Wait. Then I go to Bill Gates. I say, sir, I want, or is it Jeff Bezos who will use now? Let's use Jeff Bezos. I believe, or who is the richest now? Is it Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos? Those guys, I don't know. They are just, it's between them. Elon Musk, right? Then this is Elon Musk. This is his daughter. Huh? And I come and say, sir, I want your daughter to marry my son. He said, but my daughter is too young for marriage now. I said, but my son is the next to be vice president of the World Bank. What do you think he will say? Yes, sir. Is this guy a vice president of the World Bank? The moral of the story is, because he will marry the daughter to the richest man in the world, I need another meal now. I need another meal quickly. I need a meal. Ken, please come. Because he will be married to the daughter of the richest man in the world. This is now the president of the World Bank. I can approach the president of the World Bank and say, I want my son to be your next vice president. He said, but I have too many candidates to choose as a vice president. I said, but my son is married to Jeff Bezos' daughter. What do you think will be his answer? Yes, sir. Go and sit down. Thank you. Now, what is money? Number one, money is any medium of exchange. Any medium of exchange. Anything you can use to get what you want is money. Even though there is a positive and a negative side to that. The negative side is a lady can use her body for sex to get money. An armed robber can use weapons. But we are not focusing on that. We are looking at the positive side of it. Number two. So in number one, rather than us thinking of how to get money, we need to think of how to use money to get what you want. Number two, money is a reward for solving problems. Money is a reward for solving problems. The world is filled with problems. If you are able to discern a problem and provide solution, you'll be rewarded for it. Solve small problem, you get small money. Solve medium problem, you get medium money. Solve big problem, you get big money. Solve national problem, you get what? Solve global problem, you get what? Nobody will pay you for discovering a problem. They will only pay you when you are able to solve it. Number three, so you must become a problem solver. If you want to make money, you must become a solution provider. So if you are lacking money or you are impoverished in poverty, you need to ask yourself, when was the last time I solved a problem? I know some of us, the forces of poverty right now is contending with this knowledge in your mind. It's bouncing back. But let me tell you, I prayed before coming here. Whether you like it or not, it will enter by force. It will come out from that laziness. Number three, money is a reward for needed value. needed value. A time will come when your host community around you, your generation around you recognizes your value, and then you will be rewarded. That means that your value has been translated into a system that is always in use as far as human existence is concerned. And because of that, money will keep coming again and again. One of our presidents in this country, one of his achievements was that he brought MTN into Nigeria. And every time you recharge, a percentage is going to him. He was president many years ago, but till today he's still eating from it. Value. What is poverty?